Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to be presenting my lesson plan. So this lesson plan is a math and science lesson, and it was geared towards fourth grade students. And one of the resources that I used to implement this lesson it was Webquest. And as you can see here, these are the major components of the Webquest. The first major component of this lesson is the introduction. This is a section where it kind of gives the students an overview and also introduces them to the lesson. It sets the stage as well. Then you have your task, and this is a scenario. Kids are presented with a scenario, and then they move into the process of the lesson, and that's when they have to go through and work through activities, do research to complete their mission. There is also a evaluation section, and this just has the rubric that they're going to be used to be evaluated. Students are able to see all the components, and they can see the points that are associated with that component. There is my conclusion section, and that is pretty much just an area where students can give me feedback and kind of share what they enjoyed and what were some things that need some improvement. For the implementation process, students had to assume the role of astronomers in this lesson. They were so these astronomers were back home, and they were trying to help their fellow colleagues that were stuck in space. The students were to explore different resources that were embedded in the Webquest. They had to find the differences between the stars and planets, and they did that by researching and working their way through all the activities that were embedded in the process area. And so they worked their way through Webquest. They were able to work in teams of 3-4 students to complete the mission. And their goal was to try to figure out if their fellow colleagues had enough gas to make it back home. And they did that by calculating the distance from their current location that their colleagues were in space, and they were able to determine if they had enough gas to make it back home. Students were to create a screencast presentation after they calculated the distance, after they did their research, and in this presentation they had to restate the scenario, share their findings, and also share their findings and their solution on how the astronomers that were stuck in space, if they were able to make it back home with the gas they had. So after that, they presented the presentation to their classmates and also to other grade levels in the school. One thing I would do differently if I had to present or give this lesson again would be to add a writing component. I think writing is very important. It often gets left in the back burner because there's just not enough time. Teachers tend to focus a lot on the reading, a lot on the math, and writing just doesn't hardly ever get taught. And as students are, moving up grades, it's very evident that students need help in writing. I teach fourth grade, and sometimes my kiddos' writing is just really, really hard to read. It's just really hard to read, and I can definitely see the gaps there. So that's something I would do differently to just help them in the future, and I think it would really benefit kiddos if they had more writing in their schooling. All right, thank you guys.